Welcome back to another video on connection and isolation in our depression episodes. And again, this one is going to be on noticing your social needs, which is really important, I think, for us to understand what do we need in life, from battery draining social energy wise to an isolation wise, which this one is on the loneliness loop when isolation feeds depression. How many people do you know are in an isolation season at the moment? I know a few people in my own circle that are struggling with the isolation part of depression. And so hopefully these videos again are going to help you to decrease your depression, decrease those behaviors that go along with feeding our depression, and increase our healthier behaviors, which are given to you by the tools that are provided in these videos to hopefully help make those small changes that you need to move forward to a healthier you in life. So have you ever felt too lonely to reach out, but also too low to do anything about it? You're not alone. Again, like I said, I know quite a few people in this loneliness loop, and that's what we would call it, is a loneliness loop, when we want to reach out but we just can't because we're just not there in our life at the moment. And it's a common experience in depression. The more isolated you feel, the harder it is to connect, and the harder it is to connect, the more isolated you feel, right? We're feeding the cycle. We're not quite sure how to break it. So in this episode, we're going to bring awareness to the cycle. Not to blame ourselves. That's always a theme in here in these videos, is we don't blame ourselves, but we understand what's happening underneath it all, right? We become aware so that we can change it, and we name it sometimes. And then we create room to gently interrupt it. And so where do we start in here? Well, of course, we're going to have to recognize the cycle. We have to even understand that we're in one. And so depression often convinces us that connection isn't worth the effort at all. You might say, I don't want to be a burden, or no one really wants to hear from me. And these are the scripts that we write in our head and that play over and over again. And if we don't interrupt them, if we don't understand them and are aware of them, then we kind of stay in this cycle. And so these thoughts become beliefs for us. And those beliefs, well, they shape our behaviors, of course. Like we withdraw, we cancel plans, or we just ghost texts. And over time, the cycle does and can solidify, and loneliness becomes our norm in the end. So try this reflection prompt. What thoughts or stories do I tell myself when I feel isolated? So where do we go next after we've recognize the cycle of our loneliness loop? Well, how does this play into our nervous system? What's the role of our nervous system in all of this? So isolation doesn't just happen mentally for us. It can show up physically, like a lot of things do. When we feel unsafe or we feel overwhelmed, the body can shut down and we can freeze or have a fawn response. And this can make social engagement seem very impossible for us. And understanding that this isn't a weakness, that it's biology, right? That's what the nervous system is, helps reduce the shame for us. And compassion isn't letting ourselves off the hook. Really, it's giving the nervous system a softer place to land. Remember, this is all about gently changing ourselves into where we want to be in life. And so practice this. Notice when your body does feel closed or shut down around other people. Try placing a hand on your chest and saying, it makes sense that this is hard for me. And after, we recognize the cycle, we become aware of it, we understand what the nervous system is doing in this role of the cycle we're in, where do we go from there? Well, we interrupt the loop, and we do this in a gentle way. You don't have to leap out of the loop. That never usually helps people. Maybe there's a few of you out there that can do that, but a lot of us need to inch our way forward. And so we're going to start with some micro connections, like you're going to like a friend's post. You're going to send a simple thinking of you text, and you're going to sit near someone at a coffee shop. The goal isn't to fix the loneliness overnight, it's to create cracks or connection that let some light in. So you feel a little bit of relief, and really that's going to build your self-worth and self-esteem in this area to where you're going to understand that you can break your loneliness loop. It is possible. So try this reframe. I don't have to feel social to be gently connected. And so, recap. We recognized the cycle, right? We understood the role the nervous system played for us. And we understand how to hopefully interrupt the loop in a gentle way. So if you're stuck in the loneliness loop, you are not alone. This is a real, valid part of depression, and naming it is powerful for us. You're not broken for needing people, you are human. So remember, start small, stay kind. One small reach is enough to begin softening the loop. And here we are at the comment section. So you can comment on any part of this video, any part of your depression that you may want to comment on, or any other heavy emotion that you have right now. And if you're struggling with what to comment on, here's a question for you. What did you do today to be gently connected with somebody? So here we are. Well, first of all, if this video resonated with you, then please like, subscribe, comment, of course, and then share it with anybody that you feel may need some help in this loneliness loop and isolation of depression. Here's the next part where I get to talk about the journals that I created to go along with these videos, really. There's an anxiety journal and a self-love, self-discipline, self-discovery journal, a beach journal as well, which has 12 different areas that are all beach related that then relate to our own lives with journal prompts and those. And these are really to, again, kind of go hand in hand with the videos to just help you increase some healthy behaviors, maybe understand why we're doing this, and give you space to write what ways can we do things differently. And then there's a children's book where child can learn about bravery, courage, and their inner spark. And then at the end, of course, there's worksheets to go along with it. They will probably need your help, but this is where they get to write down their own bravery and their own courage and their own spark to get them kind of set on that own path where they know they have it on the inside of them when they really need it in the end in life. So thank you again for watching these videos.